Okay, this is my new book. It's called Prevent and Reverse Parkinson's Disease and Chronic Fatigue Syndrome. It's available at Amazon.com. It's really pretty much almost like prevent and reverse neurologic disease. But I specifically wrote about Parkinson's because I just sort of read this famous Parkinson's book called Parkinson Plan. And the guys who wrote it, they're smart guys, but they're typical conventional doctors. Everything's based on drugs. They had a little bit of knowledge of toxicology. That was good, but I thought I could go way beyond them, which I did, as I usually do. It's my job in life to be a teacher, so I'll include all that information in here. Okay, then became real interested in chronic fatigue syndrome. I sort of was interested in fatigue in general. How does a person increase their energy? And that led me to studying chronic fatigue. And there's a lot of really smart people studying chronic fatigue. A guy by the name of Ron Davis over at Stanford, his son had chronic fatigue syndrome, and he's, this brilliant Nobel Prize type researcher, expert on genetics, for example, electron microscopes and whatnot. So he's been trying to figure it out to help his son. And then a bunch of other, the best guys at Stanford, the best guys at Harvard, like David Systrom. Rob Fair is a brilliant biochemist in terms of his knowledge of biochemistry. Martin Pall, the guy from Caltech. Asperger autism, genius of biochemical pathways. So I was real impressed by all these guys. And the German's real smart too, Klaus Wirth. These are sort of like the smartest people working on chronic fatigue. There's a lot of other really good ones too. Oh, you know who else is really good? I like Jared Younger, the guy from Birmingham, Alabama. And then, guys like Jack Audie working on microglia. Then the people working on immune systems. Anyways, like Luke O'Neill, the Irish guy. So I was really fascinated by all their research. So I started reading it all and putting it together. And what I realized was I'm ahead of all of them. And here's why. All of these guys are better than me at studying the details of disease causation in a laboratory. Okay, they've done brilliant work, these guys. The best of the best. Okay, but they don't know how to cure anything. And I said, well, gee, that's what I'm the best at, okay? So I also asked myself too, for example, Martin Pall describes the no-oh-no pathway, nitric oxide peroxynitrite. And he shows how that's the main underlying mechanism of congestion and heart failure. But he has no idea what to do. You go to a conventional cardiologist, they got all these drugs, but the drugs don't really work so well. So I said to myself, well, gee, Walter Kempner cured congestive heart failure a long time ago, back in the 1940s. And there's been a bunch of case reports coming out just in the last 10 years from cardiologists now, like Robert Osfeld at Montefiore, like Baxter Montgomery. And I'm like, well, gee, we know what works, but why does it work? So then I went back through all the biochemical pathways from a low-fat vegan diet and a couple of related little tweaks on it. And so I figured that all out, and it totally makes sense. And then they also come up with the so-called itaconate pathway. Ron Davis out at Stanford is a big proponent of that's importance in chronic fatigue syndrome. Well, gee, Luke O'Neill, the Irish guy, is writing about the itaconate pathway in metabolism. Robert Navio, PhD guy, is writing about the cell danger response and how the mitochondria are trapped in an inflammatory pattern, which is largely anaerobic metabolism, as the immune system switches into anaerobic metabolism. And I'm like, well, gee, doesn't this sound familiar? The immune system switches into anaerobic metabolism. And the cancer cells switch into anaerobic metabolism when they're hypoxic. So anyways, I was able to put all this together. There's a lot more to it than that. It's a 500-page book. And, sort of like Beethoven's Ode to Joy, Ninth Symphony, it has this crescendo into joy. And like this crescendos into an academic orgasm as I show how all these pathways are connected and how you can stop these vicious cycles, positive feedback loops. So I think I'm real proud of it. I did a great thing, and I'm proud to be doing something with this circle of all these great researchers. And I did my part to figure out the best. I went way beyond anybody else in terms of how to help these patients. It's obviously complicated, and once the patient develops irreversible mitochondrial damage, it's a lot harder to help them. But there's a tremendous amount of things that are good that can be done to help them. So anyways, that's what the book's about. I go through how to increase energy in general. I spent a long time studying how to sleep better. All that stuff is in the book. So anyways, if you're interested in really learning, this is way beyond any neurologist. This is not some Andrew Huberman reading out of a undergraduate textbook. This is beyond neurology, resident, fellowship, double fellowship, triple fellowship trained, beyond all the Harvard textbooks in neurology. This is way advanced, sophisticated understanding of neurological disease and what can be done to prevent it. So if you're interested in those subjects, I think you'll find it helpful. I'll start giving some lectures about it in a little while. I need a little time to put it all together, my slide talks on it. But I intend to do that soon. I hope you find it helpful.